Anything is fine now. So please let's bear with us. Even me, I just found out the class. I just found out the class to be holding maybe like after 2 to 3. That's when I just found out I'll be having class. So we are all not okay with it, but what do we have to do? We have to cover up and we have to pass. That is the whole importance of this. So once again, good afternoon. Happy Easter to everyone. Happy Ramadan to the Muslims. May Allah answer our prayer. May God answer our prayers. May we pass in Jesus' name. Amen. So that's a short prayer to begin with. So like I said earlier in our last class, that will be taking option pricing theory today. Not today, okay, I think I said last week, but today shall be taking option pricing theory. Some people have been sending me questions concerning this topic. Pope and the rest have been sending me questions concerning this option pricing. And I said option pricing is not a topic that you can use Pathfinder to learn. It's not a topic that you can just look at Pathfinder, look at how they solve the question and feel like you know it. It's not a topic like that. There are lots to be talked about. So what I will do is we cannot finish it now because I'll most likely end this class by 5:30. I have somewhere to be by 6. So I have to leave the house by 5:30. So I have something to be by 5:30. So I will end the class by 5:30. So what we'll do is let's look at the theory part and I'll take a few moments, a few times to teach you how to use normal distribution table. So all those will not ease our class. Okay, I hope I have class tomorrow. So all those will not ease us to when we start solving tomorrow. So tomorrow, what I just want to do is solve, and solve, and solve, and solve. Probably few theory. But
So your network is breaking.
talking about theories. Doing this, people that are not
Please, we
available
can hardly
today
hear
will
you.
definitely
And
not
today's
have
date
to
is
miss
31st
much.
of March,
They will not miss
2024.
much. So let's start. Please, can everyone see my screen? Can everyone see my screen?
We can see the screen. The screen is
Jesus.
black out, and yet your voice is breaking.
Is it better now?
But we can't see the screen either.
Your voice is better now. But a lady
Please,
is
can you hear
in
me?
front of the screen.
Please, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you, sir, but we cannot see your screen.
Yeah, so I think the network logged me out. So I'm having network issues. You can see my screen. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Can you see my screen now? Yeah, I need you guys to give me feedback. Let me know.
Yes, sir, we can see your
Thank
screen.
you.
See your screen
The network
now.
is still not stable, but let's hope it releases us. So like I said, okay. So like I said they will do uh we'll, we'll talk about the theory part and I'll teach out his normal distribution table so that most class will most likely will be solving and solving.
Sir, your voice is breaking. We can
So
hardly hear you.
let's start. So I took my time so as not to allow us to take the it. So I took my time to like I'm really battling with network today. Use disable participant discussion. Please, can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
I've gone to look for network. Devil is a liar. So Lisa's iPhones. Sorry, please. This thing accidentally made you. It made you a host. So please, can you make me back to you so I'll be able to share my screen? Lisa's iPhone. I don't know who that is.
Okay, so how do I do that? Because I don't know how.
Just click participants, look for my name, Olanshile Amokbola. You see three dots beside it, then just click it. You see make a host. Thank you very much, Ma. So, okay, let me just share my screen so we'll continue with work. The people that are not in class today, their head is very strong. They have strong head. So, okay, you can see my screen now. So let's continue. So I said some of you would have heard of options, you would have heard of put option, call option. You have heard about long the call, short the put, short the call, short the call, short the put, long the call, long the put. You have heard of exercise price, strike price, time of expiration, volatility. You have heard of black schools. You have heard of what's the normal distribution table. So all those all those terminologies are what we use in option pricing. So the method I want to use to take this option pricing, because it's a very delicate topic, is I want to first explain some of the terminologies so we understand what we mean when we mention something. Then you can be writing, you can be writing as you're looking at this, because immediately I start, although I will still send the note though. I'll still send the note, but you can just be writing as it is there like this, because immediately I start, I'll be swiping down. So, what was I saying? So, normal distribution table, we'd have heard of Black-Scholes option pricing model. We'd have heard of intrinsic value, extrinsic value. Heard of stock price, exercise price. So, ND1, ND2, D1, D2. So, some of all those things and most of all those things are what we'll talk about. So, I said the method I want to use to take these classes, I want to explain the terminologies first, because immediately we start, those are the things, those are the terminologies we'll be talking about that we'll be mentioning. So I don't want to hear, so what do you mean by this? What do you mean by that when we start? Because I would have explained each and every one of them here. So let's start. So after this, I would teach you maybe like in last 10. Sorry, please, I need a timekeeper because I know myself. I always lose track of time. So Lisa's iPhone, please. I want to give you a work or a job. Please, I want to end the class by 5:30. So please, when it's 5:20 or 5:10, please remind me. So I will just use that last 10 minutes to teach you how to use normal distribution table, so we'll not have any problem tomorrow. Check that, please. Lisa's iPhone.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Thank you very much. So let's start. First, option pricing theory. What is an option? We mentioned options. What is an option? Yeah, I said option is a contract which gives the holder the right, but not the obligation to either buy or sell an underlying asset at a fixed price on or before a specific expiration date. What this is saying is it is a right, not an obligation. As the name says, option. I'm giving you the option to this, I'm giving the option to that. So it's giving you a right. Either you buy or sell an underlying asset. You want to go to the market, you want to buy tomato, you have tomato, you have what's there again? You have pepper, you have Cameroon pepper. That decision, that right that no, I have Cameroon, don't let me buy Cameroon pepper, let me buy tomato. That is the right. That is an option. The option to buy Cameroon pepper or buy tomato. So that is what an option is. Although, yeah, we're not talking about tomato and the like, so I'm just using that as an example. So that is an option to either buy an underlying asset or sell an underlying asset at a fixed price before a specific expiration date. Moving on, our terminologies. Let's start with, like I said, we have two types of option. We have a call option and a put option. A call option is an option to buy. Please note these things. Note these things. A call option is an option to buy. A put option is an option to sell. Now let's read this, the grammar I have here. But that is simply what it means. Call option, option to buy. Option to buy the underlying asset. Put option, option to sell the underlying asset. So now let's read the grammar I have here. So yeah, I said a call option is the option that gives its holder the right, but not an obligation to buy. Let me underline this for you people. To buy the underlying at a specific price or not before the specified expiry date of the option. Option to buy. That's a call option. So now option to put option. I already said put option is an option to sell. So what it's saying now is saying the put option is the option that gives put option is the option that gives its holder the right but not an obligation to sell the underlying asset at the specific price or not before specific expiry date of the option. Let me give you an insight. If you want to look at option, look at it from, like I said, tomato and tomato. If you go to the market to buy tomato, you want to buy the tomato, you have a call option because you have the option to buy. That is you, but you don't have a put option because you are not obviously the seller of the option now, so you don't have option to sell. This person that is selling to you that has option to sell, okay, am I okay with the price? Yes. Am I not? Okay. If he's okay with the price, we will take the option to sell. That's then taking the put option. If he does not, if he's not okay with the price, he will not take the option. He will tell you to go to another market, go and buy your. So that is him not taking the put option. But you as a buyer, if you are okay with the price, you take the call option. If you are not, you move on and you will not take the call option. That is what a put and a call option means. Tomato, call, buy, put, sell. Please note these terminologies. Okay, because I will not, when we move forward, I will not be using buy and sell again. I'll just be using call option, put option. I don't want to
Sorry, please, can you just scroll up a bit? Let me screenshot, please. Thank you.
I will send the notes, sir, please. So I don't want someone to come and ask me what is a put option, what is a buy, what is a call option. Thank you. Moving on. Before I move on, people are complaining that today is Easter and we are still having 70 participants. Let's move on. Sorry. So, like I read here, I mentioned something about option holder. So, who's an option holder? An option holder is the buyer of an option. Is the buyer of an option. The person that wants to make that option, that wants to buy, it's the buyer of an option. That's an option holder. Option seller is the writer of an option or a seller of an option. Any which one is the writer of an option. So, moving on, I've spoken about exercise price. I've spoken about, although I still explain some of them later here, but I still brief them here. So I still spoke about exercise price. I said exercise price. Exercise price is a fixed price at which an underlying can be bought or sold. Accountant in the building, if you are very familiar with your CR, when something is a fixed price at which an underlying, that is the price that it is. I don't use the word fair value, but let's just leave that. But this is the price at which an underlying can be bought, or so that is the price that it is fixed, not when it is when the person that wants to sell it has hyped it or he has reduced it. The exact price that he wants to sell or that he wants to buy is what we mean by exercise price. That is the fixed price at which that particular underlying asset can be bought or sold. That is what we mean by exercise price. Moving on, we have intrinsic value. This intrinsic value actually has calculation, but like I said, I'm trying to define the terminologies first before we get to calculation. So when we do intrinsic value, we'll do marks of stock price, exercise price, we'll do all of those very. We'll talk about value, but when we get there, we'll definitely talk about them. So let me explain what intrinsic value means. Now, intrinsic value is the difference between the exercise price of an option and the stock price of the underlying. is the difference. I explain stock price of the underlying here. So just note that the intrinsic value is the difference between the exercise price of an option and the stock price of an underlying. So I've mentioned expiry date or expiration date. They are both the same thing. So expiry date or expiration date. Expiry date is the last day on which an option may be exercised. That is the day in which the option may be exercised. Although there are some types of options. Okay, let me divert a little bit. Not diversion, I will still explain them later on. We have something we have European style option, we have American style option. I'm trying to just move a little bit too. They are still all under the same thing. We have what we call European style, we have what we call American style. American style is a type of option. Internet is unstable again, Jesus. But please just listen to me. I said American style is a type of option that can be exercised early, while European style is one that has to be exercised at the expiration. I said that because of the expiration date. You know, in the expiration, I said it is the last day in which the option may be exercised. And now I'm saying we have two types of particular option: American style and European style option. American style can be exercised at any time, not necessarily at the expiration date. You know, for an option, you guys can agree that this option will be exercised 5 years, 4 years. But when you are talking about American style, it can be exercised anytime within that 4 years. But European style has to be at the end of that 4 years. I just said I should divert, although I will still write the meaning later. But I just said I should divert because of the expiration date we are talking about. So moving on, I also said an option is an asset to the holder and a liability to the seller. That makes sense. It's an asset to the holder of an asset, which I said here that is the buyer of an option. If you go to the market, you buy tomato, it's an asset to you already. I'm just using the word tomato. Please don't misquote me or don't get it wrong, but I'm just using that. But the buyer or the holder of an asset is an holder, asset is that option is an asset to that person and a liability to the person that is to the seller. Option can be terminated early or at their expiration. An option that can be terminated early is usually the American style option, and one that is terminated at their expiration is the European style option. So those are most of the terminologies I'll be using. You don't have to rack your head now. When we get deep into them, you'll definitely understand most of those terminologies better. So here we have about five factors or 5 items that actually affect the value of an option. That actually
Sir, please,
determines, okay, do I take
excuse
this
sir.
buy? Do I take this call option? Do I not? Do I take this put option? Do I not? We have some factors that affect those decisions. We have the value of the underlying, which I also refer to as stock price. We also have, let me write them here now so we know. So this is also denoted because when we start solving, this is what we'll be using. This is also denoted as PA, that is price of the underlying, value of the underlying. This second one now is excise price. We also have what we call second one is the excise price. The excise price, we can denote that as PE. You can check some textbooks and they are not denoted as PE. They are the same thing.
Excuse sir.
Please, can you hear me? I think someone is trying to say something.
Excuse sir.
Okay, don't think that's for me. So
Sir,
you can check some
excuse sir.
textbook. Miss Mercy, please hold on. You can check some textbooks
Okay.
and they are not denoted as PE or PA. They are still the same thing. If you want to do your own, you can write A and E. Please hold on, ma. You can write A and E or anything you feel like writing, but this is what I would denote them as. Value of the underlying or stock price is what we refer to as PA. Excise price is PE. Time to expiration. I'm still talking about the factors that affect value of an option. No? So value of this is our time to expiration. We also have risk free of interest, which is R. Then we have volatility, which is denoted as S. Most times, standard deviation. We spoke about that when we were talking about portfolio theory. Spoke about standard deviation, spoke about volatility, and that is denoted as S. So before I move to the explanation of each and every one of these, Miss Messi, please, you want to question me? You want to ask me something?
Yes, sir. Under the terminologies, I want you to explain the second to the last. How is an option a liability to the seller?
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
breaking up.
he's receiving something, yeah, in place of what he's selling. So how is it
Which is not.
a liability to him? The second to the last one, you say options.
Ma, please check your network.
Can you hear me?
Ma, please check your network. I can't really hear you. Please, you're cracking. When your network is good, you can ask. But for now, your network is breaking, ma.
Hello, I think what she's saying is definition of terminology. The last the dot to the last line.
Network is really dealing with me. Please, Lisa's iPhone, please help me, please. Lisa's iPhone, please help me make me. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Sir, can you hear me now?
I think it's a little better. Please hold on. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, okay, ma'am, with you now. I think I can hear you a little bit.
Okay. So under the definition of the terminologies, the second to the last point, you said an option is an asset to the buyer and a liability to the seller. So I need more explanation on that. I didn't get it well.
Okay. Please, when you are looking at this, don't look at it from. If you look at it from the tomato aspect, I was just using that as an example because I'm sure some my FR students will be saying, but they are not the one collecting cash now. It's not an asset to you. But please hold that in your left hand. Don't use it to eat. When we solve more questions, I'm sure you would understand what we mean by an option is an asset to the buyer and the liability to the seller. But please hold that now, because if I want to use an example, I would want to use the tomato example. But because we are just getting to start, you might be having doubts. So please hold that. You can ask me later, but for now, please hold it.
Oh, okay, sir.
Just take it like that for now. So I said the value of the underlying yeah, I said a call option. This is just theory. All these are just theory. To think that I can actually use to ask some of all this, that's why I decided to put them down. I could just come and just use my mouth to explain them and move on. But they used to ask these things. That's why I put them down so you read. So value of the underlying. This year I said a call option is a means of acquiring the underlying. Like I said earlier, that a call option is a buy. Call means to buy. That's a means of acquiring the underlying, whereas a put option is a means of selling the underlying. Therefore, a call option will be worth more if the underlying is worth more. A call option will be worth more if the underlying is worth more. And a put option will be worth more if the underlying is worth less. This means that for a call option, the greater the price of the underlying, the greater the value of the option to the holder. But for a put option, the lower the price of the underlying, the greater the value of the option to the holder. Sorry, I wrote bond. Bond is in my head. The greater the value of the option to the holder. That is just theory. Just read them and know them. Don't ask for why. Why? When you qualify, you know why. Read them. For exercise price, sorry. Exercise price is saying, like I said earlier, exercise price is also known as strike price. So in some textbooks, you can see them as strike price. Some you can see exercise price. So here now I said exercise price is also known as exercise price is also known as strike price. For a call option, the value of the underlying must exceed the exercise price, and for a put option, the value of the underlying must be less than the exercise price in order to justify the exercise price of the option. What this is saying is for a call option, like I said, an option is a call option is the option to buy. So for a call option, the value of the underlying, the value of what you want to buy, that you want to, like the value of what you want to buy, it must exceed the excise price. It must be more than the price that it must be more than the fixed price. The value, let's say, I don't want to use tomato because I don't want people to, I will continue using tomato. Please just get the picture I'm trying to paint. The value of tomato must exceed the price you want to buy it. Because, like, God of mercy. If you want to buy a basket of tomato, the value, when I mean the value, like the exact value, it must exceed the fixed price that you want to take the option must pay. And the other one, for a put option, the value of the underlying must be less than the excise price in order to justify the excise price of the option. Just read this theory, know them. If they ask, put it down. If they don't ask, move on. Therefore, for a call option, the lower the excise price, the greater the value of the option. And for a put option, the greater the excise price, the greater the value of the option. If anyone has checked Pathfinder of option, I'm sure you'd have seen this theory part come out. It comes out a lot, maybe 5 marks, 10 marks. So you can just decide to just get free 5 marks or lose free 5 marks. So that is what that is saying. So I was not able to do the time for expiration. So we'll do that. Together now, or maybe I'll just dictate. You guys will write, and I'll fill it in later. Or time to expiration is saying, this is saying. Okay, let me explain. Before I write. Long-term option, always normally on a normal ground. When there is a long-term option, let's say a 5 years option or a 6 years option, normally it worth more than like a 2 years or a 3 years option. So simply, if you owe that, normally that's what it should be. Like a 5 years option, if you look at it now, you want to buy something for 5 years or you want to say something for 5 years, you should allow it worth more than a 3 years option. Normally, that's what it should be. Because the longer the period to expiry now, the longer the probability that the item will rise in value. If something is supposed to expire in let's say I'm looking for a perfect example to use. But just understand the terminology. I'll still write them down. I said the longer the remaining period to expiry. Don't look at our items at the sale year. That if something wants to expire 1 year or 2 years, they will go and put it at discount price. No, it does not. It does not. It's not the same thing. What I'm saying is, the longer the remaining period to expiry, the greater the probability that the item will rise in value for option. So therefore, call option, the option to buy, call option worth more. It worth more. Let me write this down. So people will be seeing what I'm explaining. I said ordinarily, or you can be writing it to the same as I'm typing it. Long-term options should I said long-term options should worth more. So I just found out about the class like 2-3 hours ago. I should have fixed all this. Should worth more than the short-term options. Should worth more than. Please, Miss Lisa, please don't forget about the time, please. But
Yeah.
this is not the case because this was what I was trying to say, because the longer the remaining period to expiry, the greater the probability that the underlying item will rise value. Okay, please read this line again and digest it. That's what I was trying to say. I now said call options. Typing is not easy. Call options what more? Call options what more? The longer the time to expiry, because there's no time for the price of the underlying to increase. Please, let's read this line and try to understand it. Let me say the one for put option. Therefore, I said, when I say put options is just going to be the opposite of that. Put options is definitely they are going to worth more if the price of the underlying falls. If it falls over time. Okay. So this is what this is saying. Yeah, I said ordinarily long-term option should worth more than the short-term option. On a normal case, long-term option should worth more than the short-term option. But this is not the case, because the longer the remaining period to expiry, when the longer the remaining period to expiry, the greater the probability that the underlying assets will rise in value. This is just saying something concerning like the inverse. It's just reacting to price. The time is just reacting to the rise or fall in value, to the price of the underlying assets. This is saying if the time to expire is going to take longer time, the price, like the price of the asset, the price of the underlying that you want to buy is either going to increase or it is going to fall. This is just saying, this is just moving inversely proportional to the time to expiration. If the time to expiration is shorter, the price of the underlying assets will increase in value. But if the time to expire is longer, the price of the underlying asset might not necessarily increase. The value of the underlying asset might not necessarily increase, because the time to expire is not. We know the way investors or we consumers move now. We are very rational. If something is going to expire, the value goes up. Because now people are rushing. Okay, this thing is going to close. This thing is going to expire next month. This thing is going to expire in the next 1 year, next 2 years. I'm not talking about expired product. I'm not talking about those ones you used to go and buy in supermarket though. I'm talking about these options now is usually dealing with, it deals with most times stocks, not all these our normal tin tomato, all those things that we used to buy. It's normally stocks and all those things. So when it is closer to when it will expire, it normally increases in value, and when it is further from when it will expire, it reduces in value. Just know that and know peace. Thank you very much. Moving on. The next one now is risk-free rate. Risk-free rate of interest. We are just checking the effect on the effect of each of all these items on either the call option or the put option. At the end of the day, all this my explanation is just for you to like have a basic understanding of what this is, because sometimes it's just you going there and writing them down. The important part is the calculation part. Because that is what comes out most times. But we still not leave this. Let me do this to this. Then this. So now, I said for call options, we are just checking the effect of each and every one of these on the call option and on the put option. So for call options, longer time time to expiry. Please, I would like somebody to note something down. Because we solve a question that would relate to something like this. And I would definitely not answer any question relating to it then. So please note it down now. See that I'm changing something in what I'm writing. Yeah, I said, okay, let me finish writing before I bring out my point. Excess price is lower. So the present value of the outlay of the excess price is lower. Okay. Whereas the opposite is for put options. So like I said, we are just doing the effects of each and every one of those items on the put and on the put and the call option. Please, if you are writing, it's very good because you guys know that although I said I'll send the note, but it might be after a while. Okay. So this is the effect of weeks free on the call option and on the put option. So for the let me read what I have here. Yeah, I said for a call option or for call options, the longer time to expiry means that the present value of the outlay of the exercise price is lower. Whereas the opposite is for put option. The opposite is for put option. If the interest rate rises, the present value of the exercise price will reduce, and therefore either the holder or the writer will ask for like a compensation or for higher premium or pay a premium or something, ask for compensation. That is the effect of risk-free rate of interest on put and call option. I will definitely come back to this. Don't worry about it. I will definitely come back and explain it better. But for now, let's take this. I'm sure some of you will be wondering, now, what's this guy writing? What's this guy doing? You want to understand the basic, the concepts. It's good though, it's good to understand the concepts, but my lecturer will tell me that first know it first. When you chatter, go and look for the meaning. But no, I will still come back and explain it. I really want to talk about that. All these ones are just theory, yeah? The most important part is the calculation part, which is why I want to get to the normal distribution table on time. Because all these ones I can just dictate them or write them and send and you read. But the calculation part is the most important. This, like I said, that volatility, or this means it means standard deviation. What am I writing? Average return. So for this one now, the greater the volatility of the price, the volatility of the price of the underlying item, the greater the probability. Please and please, each and every one of all these also has effect on either the European style option and on the American style option. But because we've not spoken about them, that is why I did not really write the effect, so we'll not get confused. Okay. So this is this for this. So I said this also means standard deviation, and it measures the variation from the average return. The greater the volatility of the price of the underlying item, the greater the probability of the option yielding, of the option yielding option can. Of the option yielding profit. That's what I wanted to say. Of the option yielding profit. So that is what volatility means. What's anything now? So these are the five items that I listed here. Factors affecting the value of an option. This is what it denotes. And this is the value of this is the explanation and how each and every one of them affects the option. Either the one that affects a call option or the one that affects a put option. The one that if it increases the value of the price of the option will increase. There is something like that. The exercise price. Okay, let's talk about the value of the underlying. Okay, I already explained that now. I think I stopped at risk-free. So the one that deals with expiration, that when there is a longer time to expiration, either the option, okay, for this risk-free now, longer time to expiry means that the present value of the outlay of the exercise price is lower, and opposite for the put option. Some of them deals with expiry date. Some of them deals with the value of the underlying. But let me tell you something. I don't know if you have noticed, but each and every one of all these items, they still circle out and rotate among each other. Some of them still deal with each other. Like rate of interest, it deals with expiration date and price of the underlying. Some of them, price of the underlying deals with probably time to expiration, this with volatility. So they still, at the end of the day, rotate around each other. So I would advise that you read each and every one of all of these, the items, read them, and note the effects on the call option and on the put option. If they want to ask, that is where they can come out from. Apart from the what's the name? Apart from the calculation part, if they want to come out, this is where they can come out from. Tell you to explain them and the effect on either on the call option or on the put option. And the answer is what you definitely have here. Before I move on to the moneyness of an option, because as we've spoken about items, we also have moneyness of an option. Here is where we speak about in the money, at the money, out of the money, and all those things. I think I still have like about 10-15 minutes before I talk about distribution table. Although we still have quite some things to do before we get there, but I feel like by the grace of God, I should be able to cover all this in our next class. But let me just talk about all this first. So the next thing I want to talk about now is moneyness of an option. Like I said, here now we have what we call in the money, at the money, out of the money. So all these still they still talk about the stock price, which is the value of the underlying assets, and the exercise price. When the value of the underlying asset is greater than the exercise price, we have in the money. I said when the value of the underlying asset is greater than the exercise price, we have in the money. And when the value of the when the value of the underlying asset now is now less than the exercise price, we have out of the money. And when the value of the underlying asset is equal to the exercise price, we have at the money. Somebody is saying problem. Voila. Don't worry, we have not even started.
Please, sir, come again, sir. Please, sir.
I will write it, sir. Ma, don't worry. I said, or I will say, or I will write. So I said we have in the money. Okay, let me still use this.
Money.
So I said we have in the money. We have in the money. And in the money is saying, let me just let's just shorten it. Let's just say let's say when, let's just do this so you understand. Let's say underlying assets. And then underlying asset is where is this button? Okay, let's say greater than exercise price. This is what we buy in the money. In the money occurs when the value of the underlying asset is greater than your exercise price. So we'll not be writing plenty story. Value of the underlying when it's greater than when it's greater than the exercise price is what we mean by in the money. Then we have out of the money. Out of the money. This is saying, or this means when the value of the underlying is less than the exercise price. When the value of the underlying is less than the exercise price, then we have at the money. We have at the money, which says when the value of the underlying, when the value of the underlying is equals to the exercise price. So this is what we mean by moneyness of an option. Moneyness of
Okay,
an
so
option.
it's 10 minutes after 5 now. So
Okay. Let me add 5 more minutes. Let me just 5 more minutes, please. Thank you. So we have moneyness of an option. So this is simply what the moneyness of an option is saying, but let's do something so we would not get it all wrong. Oh, goodness. I feel like it's better like this. Let me check. Okay, I think I prefer it this way. Okay. So I think I like this is the value. This is what moneyness of an option. Say, so the next thing we'll do now, so we'll talk about things we'll talk about now. We'll talk about the intrinsic value of an option, intrinsic value of a call option, intrinsic value of a put option. We'll talk about we'll talk about put option, the formula for put option. We'll talk about call option. We also talk about put call parity, where we talk about conditions for put call parity and how to use put call parity. We'll now talk about the main, which is the Black-Scholes option pricing model. This is where we will do loads of work. Then we'll also talk about the assumptions of Black-Scholes pricing model when we get there, talk about that. Then we'll also talk about the effect of the Greek, we have something we call the Greek option pricing. So we'll talk about the effect. Here we have what we call delta, we have what we call we have delta, we have rho, we have vega, we have theta, and we have delta, we have gamma. So each and every one of these things, they have effects on on the option. They have effect on some of the items of this option. Like Rho now, Rho talks about volatility, Rho talks about volatility, delta talks about the change in underlying price to change in excess price. Talk about theta. Theta mostly is option value to change in expiration. Don't let me go to all of all these things. When we get there, we'll talk about them. We'll also talk about binomial option pricing model. And so all those things are what we'll do in our next class. So please, I would love if we really get if we get prepared, we'll be doing loads and loads and loads of work. This is just introduction to option pricing model. And to explain some of the terminologies we'll be using. At least this has saved us about 1 hour of what we'll do in our next class. So please, before I go, because I said I was going to stop by 5:30. So before I go, let me teach, or let me explain. Before I even do anything. Let me just say, let me give you a brief of some of the calculation or how we'll be going about the calculation in option. No, that was what we did in portfolio. I explained like some of the calculations, what we'll be doing, the steps we'll be taking. So it will be easier. So the steps we'll be taking now is let me explain to you. I've given you terminology of call option. I've given you terminology for a put option. I've explained to you what a call option is. I've explained to you what a put option is. So what ICANN does is, or what they will do, or what the most likely option wants to come out is, they will give you all the stories, plenty stories around it. Then they will give you all the details you need. Some of the details will contain your exercise price, or they tell you present value of probably an underlying. They will give you the value for your price of the underlying. They give you value for your risk-free. They give you value for your standard deviation, and they give you value for your time to expiration. So they give you all those value. Then they come and they say determine a call option, determine a put option. Sometimes they will not tell you to determine. Most times they will not even tell you to determine put option. They will just say required. This so person wants to decide if you should buy the asset or if you should sell the underlying. Left to you, know that the option to buy is a call option. The option to sell is a put option. So whenever you see if you want to take the option to buy, you know you are trying to determine the call option. First, you already solved 15% of the question. Determine that are you calculating for call, you are calculating for put. You know you are calculating for call option, you will not go ahead and write out the formula. The formula for call option is saying, you don't need to write this down. When you get there, I would write it for you. The value for call option is PA ND1 minus PE ND2 exponential RT. What PA is? Your PA stands for your, like I said, your PA stands for your underlying, your price of the underlying. Your ND1 is a normal distribution table minus PE, which is the exercise price, open bracket, ND2, which is a normal distribution table to exponential minus RT. So if you determine you are supposed to calculate your call option, you will not bring all these, please hold on. You will not bring all these components. You bring all these components into the formula and infuse them in the formula, then you get your call option. But I don't know if anyone noticed when I was talking, I mentioned something like normal distribution table, ND1. Please, let's mute ourselves, please. I mentioned something like ND1, ND2. What does this mean? Let me try to mute everybody first, please. Hold on. Don't like side distractions. Sorry. Okay, very good. So I said, I mentioned ND1, ND2, which means normal distribution table. So it's not part of our calculation, it's not part of the things they will give us, it's not part of the details they will give us. We're supposed to calculate it. Okay. How do we calculate it? But before I go to how we calculate it, first, we have two types of normal distribution table. We have what we call full table, we have what we call half table. Let me come again. We have two types of normal distribution. This is very important, very, very important. Even probably one of the most important details you have to know. We have what we call full distribution table. We have what we call half distribution table. Full distribution table it's just as the name implies. Full distribution table. Half distribution table is like half of the full distribution table. If you add the two details of half together, it's supposed to give you the full distribution table. But what I can use is half distribution table. What I can use is half distribution table. If you go to Google to Google and put normal distribution table, what comes out automatically is a full table. And if you use full table with what is in this half table, you will probably not most times even get the same answer for your D1. You will not get the same answer for your D1. So most times it's always preferable to use our half distribution table. If you check the back of your question paper, you have your distribution table at the back of your question paper. So please, we are using half distribution table. That being said, now let's run through how to check what we mean by how to check a normal distribution table. Let me give an example. Let me say when we calculate, because when we want to calculate our ND1, before we calculate our ND1, we would have calculated our D1. Our D1 is from our BSOP. I know some of you will have a vague knowledge. Please hold on, don't have a full knowledge yet, because I'm just doing introduction. When we start when we go deep, understand most of these things. Please just hold on, relax. Don't worry. We've been doing this for a long time now. At least we've done bond, understand bond, we've done portfolio, understand portfolio. Don't worry, you understand this one. So just calm down, relax. So what I'm saying is, before you get ND1, you have to get your D1. Your D1 now is as a result of your BSOP formula, which is your Black-Scholes formula. The formula is long. I think lean PA over PE plus 0.5 RST squared over, it's a long formula, sure. So we use that formula to get your D1. So when you get your D1, is that your D1? Let's assume our D1 now. Let's assume our D1. Let's assume our D1. Why is I don't okay. Let's assume our D1 now equals 0. Let me say 0.1826. 1825. Our D2 equals 0.1924. 1924, something like this. So the first thing you will do is, as this thing is, you won't check your normal distribution. Okay, sorry, let me do this here. Let me say this is 2.1924. Okay. So let me say, as this thing is like this, first thing you first do is approximate. That's the first thing that comes to your head. That okay, because you have to approximate this first to get to 2 decimal place, so it'll be easier to check your normal distribution table. So this now let's approximate it. Now let's say approximately. I will delete this later. I'm just trying to use this. Approximately is 0.1. It'll be approximated to 2 decimal place. So if you want to check your normal distribution table now, let me open one icon Pathfinder and open my own normal distribution table here. So let's use March, July 2020. I'm going to open icon Pathfinder. SFM is page 69. Usually more than, so let me say 75. Okay, this is that portfolio question we solved that day. So moving on. Okay, this is not your normal distribution table. Just periodic. So this is our normal distribution table. Can anybody see? This is our normal distribution. This is what our normal distribution table looks like. And this is normal distribution table. This is what it looks like. So this is what a half table looks like. A half table. This is what it looks like. So what you will now do is you will now come here. We are trying to get our D1. So let's go back. What did you say our D1 is? I will do D1. I will now form, people will check. So we said our D1 is 0.18. What this simply means is, what you will now check is, you will now check for 0.7, sorry, 0.1. You have 0.18. You now check for 0.1 under it. 0.1 under it. That's why I said it's better to approximate to 2 decimal place. You now go back. You check for 0.1 under it. So that open that thing. This one was closed. Okay. So follow me. Just look at this, my cursor here. This is what 0.1 under it. So usually here now we have 0.01, 0.0 like this, like this. We have, this is row, this is column, Abi. We have on our row and our column. So 0.1 under 8 now, you will use your row. Looking at it, we have 0.0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. So looking at it, we look for 0.1, this is 0.1. We will not chase this 0.1 down here like this. 0.05, 0 under your 8. So 0.1 under 8 here. Now we have 0. That means we have 0.0714. We have 0.0714 automatically now. That means our ND1, although we are still not done, which then means that our ND1 equals 0.0714 plus, don't we always add 0, because it's a half table. Because you are using half distribution table, you add 0.5 to it. if it's a full distribution table, that's why I said to have a uniform sum, that's why I can't say that we should just be using half distribution table. So whenever you check your distribution table, please do not forget to add 0.5 because you're using a half distribution table. So 0.0714 plus 0.5, whatever you get is your ND1. So let's do for this ND2 now. So for this ND2 now, let's say we now have, so we'll now check for 2.1 under 9. 2.1 under 9. So we'll come back here. You come here. This is our, you come here. This is 2.1. 2.1 is here under 9. 2.1 under 9. That's 0.4857. 0.4857. So what do? I come here. I say ND2 equals 0.4857 plus 0.5. Of course, it's a half distribution table. We are using 0.5 because it's a half table plus 0.5. Our final answer is our ND2. Please, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
It's not clear. Oh. Please, can you go over it again, please?
Let me do it again. So I said when we are doing our formula, we'll be seeing something like D1. I don't want to write the formula now because it's long. Black scores is a very long formula. And please let's learn about mass because black scores deals mostly with board mass. We'll get a lot of different answers, but if you understand your board mass, we'll be in the same shoes. So the formula, we'll first get our D1. That is what the formula is. That's what the formula is saying. We'll first get our D1. So when we get our D1 is a whole lot of formula, but at the end of the day, we'll arrive at a very long answer. Let's say something like our answer is, I'm just assuming, let's say our answer is D1. Our answer for D1 is, let's say 1.2345. That's our answer for D1. After your D1, your D2 equals your D1 minus X. I'll give you all those formula, don't worry. So this is your D1. Let's assume this is your D1. And now said we have something we call half table and full table. I can't say we should use half table, that we should not deal with full table. If you check the back of your question paper, there is something like there's a normal distribution table there. And the normal distribution table is half table. So what you will now do is, if your answer is 1.2345, you now go to your normal distribution table. This is my own. I just opened it. This is Professional 2020. I opened it from ICANN Pathfinder, March July 2020. So our D1 was what again? Our D1 is 1.2345. So I said the best thing is first approximate it. First approximate now. If you want to approximate this, okay, let me use something like this. 12365. So you approximate this. If you approximate this now, it automatically gives you 1.24. Abi? Down on 1.24. That's what it gives you. So what you will now do is, since you have 1.24, you now go to your normal distribution table. So you check, you split it like this in your mind, in your head. Split it like this in your head. So you now go and check 1.2 under 4. 1.2 under 4. So you come here, you will now check. This is your row. Your row is where your first stuff used to be. This is your row. This is your column. So you come here now, you check. This is 0.0, 0.1, 0.2. You look for 1.2. This is 1.2. You will now go back to the column. So 1.2. You now come here. This is 1.2 under 0. This is 1.2 under 1. This is 1.2 under 2, 1.2 under 3, 1.2 under 4, 1.2 under 5, and so on. And we are looking for 1.2 under 4. So our 1.2 under 4 is 0.3925. 0.3925. So you come here, you now say your ND1 is, I've forgotten what I saw. What was it again? 1.2 under 4.
0.294.
Okay.
Sir? So giving me wrong answer. 0.3925. 0.3925. And I said you had it 0.5.
0.5.
You're adding to 0.5 because you are using a half distribution table. If you are supposed to be using a full table, you will not add 0.5. But because you are using a half table, you add 0.5. So whatever you get is your final answer for your ND1. Your final answer for your ND1. You do the same thing for ND2. Whatever you get is your ND2. You now go and put both your ND1 and your ND2 in your core formula or in your put formula. That is the end of the answer. So let's do something. Let me give 2 or 3 or 4 examples to be sure that you guys understand what I've been saying. Then I'll be sure that since we've no normal distribution table, we are good. We just come back, we'll talk about the remaining theories and start solving. Let me just formulate something. Let me see our D1. This one I'll call will give me my answer. Anybody I call, if you don't give me, I'll be sad. So let's do this. Let's do it like this. I'm just formulating words, so I'll be figures then. Let me see. 6. Okay. So these are my 4 ones. The first one is this is different. So let's do this. So let's go bring everything down. Okay. So D1, D2, D1, D2. So I need somebody to give me my ND1, ND1. So should I call somebody or you guys will give me willingly?
Let me give you willingly.
So give me willingly for
We
the
are not
first
with the
one.
table.
Yeah, but I will ask you to help me look at the table. Then you can give me the figure of the table. I'll be directing you. I'll be directing you. Don't worry.
The first one is 0.4370.
0.4207, Abby.
4370.
Okay, I don't know if you're correct or you are wrong. Yeah, directing me. How did you get what you got?
You have put the table. I couldn't see the figure again. Yeah, so that I can tell you how to do it.
I cannot bring the 2 side by side now. You write the figure down, you'll be calling it for me.
No,
Bring it, let's sit down now. Go back to the table.
Let's read.
You are not ready for that. Yeah, write this figure down.
The first one is 1.5. The first one is 1.5. That
I feel like I should call people. Let me call people. I don't
okay.
I don't want willing answer again. Lisa's iPhone, my co-host. Do you want to help us with something? Mr. Shea, I can see your hand though. Please hold on. Are you guys done copying this thing? I want to move away. I'll assume yes. So, Mr. Shea, you want to help us?
Yes.
You want to help us? You want to help us, sir? Mr. Shea, you are not answering us again, no?
On that.
I cannot hear you, sir. I cannot hear you. It's somebody else, please.
1.5 under 3.
1 point what?
5 under 3.
1.5 under 3. So let's check for 1.5 under 3. So this is 1.5, yeah? Under 3, 0.1, 0.3. So that means we have 0.4370. So which means therefore our ND1
0.4370.
0.4370 plus what?
0.5.
0.5. So what's my answer?
0.9370.
0.9370.
So this is my ND1. So
Yes.
the end two of that question is what? I'm seeing people that are
Okay,
using
for
up
the
the hand. I
first
would just
one.
3.4567.
Is that my answer?
No, 0.4997 plus 0.5.
You said that is 0. What?
4997 plus 0.5. 0.5, which is equal to 0.9997.
Like 0.4906.
Is it the
Not
same thing?
7.
Please, which one are you doing for? Is this the ND2?
No, for that.
No, let's ask the person. Did he approximate that 5 to 6 or what? Well, let's
Yes,
know what he did.
I did. I approximated.
Yes.
Please, I'm very confused. What's happening? What did you guys do?
What we did is
It's
we
not
approximated
0.99, it's
3.4567.
0.4997.
9 7.
Was that not what I wrote?
0.4997. Yes.
That's what I wrote.
0.4997.
The first one I gave you is correct.
Okay. 1 hour. Let me do it by myself. You ban already. If you round this up to, this is 3.46. That means you check 3.4 under 6.
Under 6.
So if you check 3.4 here, under 6. That is 0.4997 now.
Yes.
0.4. Even if you check under 5, it's still the same thing, but 0.4997. Then add it plus 5 now. What would you not give me?
So now give you 0.9997.
That's what he said now. You guys, yeah. So let's do, so the second one now. The second one I will call him. Okay, sorry, somebody was Mr. Shea, you are still raising up your hand. You want to ask me something? Then Mrs. I think I saw Judith Abel. You want to ask me something?
No. I just wanted to point out
Help
the
me.
D1 now, the second D1.
Okay, you want to help me. But hold on, please. I want to call names now. That's why. Sorry. I want to call somebody.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Let me look for someone that has not been participating in my class. Jude Okafor, are you there? Jude Okafor. My internet is not.
Let's save our time now.
No, it's not you that will decide if we are saving our time or not.
You said 5:30, so I'm just trying to remind you.
I'm done. The class is 4 to 6 now. It's me. I'm done. I want to go somewhere.
Okay. All right.
Okay, for the second one, let's go for the second one.
I want to call somebody to do it for me. That's why. Because I need to carry everybody. No, you know, like we'll start next class. Somebody will come and be asking me questions. Okay,
Okay, sir.
Call Mercy.
Let's
call Mercy.
Let's cooperate.
Let me call somebody. Let me call my co-host. Afolabi Olalekan, are you there?
I'm there, sir.
Give me my answer, please.
2.3 under 5.
2.3 under what?
Correct. 2.3 under 5.
Under 5. So
Yes.
you check 2.3 under 5. What do we have? 0.4906, Abi?
4906.
0.4906. So this is 0.4906 plus 0.5.
0.5.
The answer is
0.9906.
06.
Let me check for ND2, and that's the last.
0.4906.
Plus
0.5.
Ma, are you using glue?
Yes.
I'm using
9906.
Ma, we'll solve the question. Yeah, just call me. So the second one is 0. What's the second one? 6 point. No, this is going to be wrong. Or maybe
6.3.
You don't have 6.0.
We don't, the range is wide.
and there's no. I'm sure that's going to be wrong. I was picking it together. Let's use 2 points. Okay. Oh yeah. That's approximately 2 point what?
2.35.
2.35. So that's 2 point what? That's 2.3 under
Under
5.
5.
so 2.3 under 5.
0.490.
906.
0.496.
That is the same thing. Oh.
Sorry. Because I was just assuming figure, that's why. So you see the same thing.
990.
0.9906. So I can assume that all of us in
It's
this
the same
class,
thing, sir.
so I can assume that all of us in this class know how to check a distribution table.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So moving on. So I would next class, which is tomorrow by the grace of God, I would really love us. I don't know your tax lecturer's plan, but I would.
What time tomorrow?
What time tomorrow, please?
I don't have idea, but I think it should be the normal time tomorrow, which is 9. I think so. I'm not so sure.
9 p.m.
Let's do it in the afternoon.
We hope so, sir.
It can't be in the
5 p.m., sir.
afternoon, no, please.
Let's make it in the afternoon, sir. By 12.
I don't have the power
We can do it. No,
Please.
let it be
We
in the
can make
evening.
it same time tomorrow now. We can make it
Let
same
it
time
be the
tomorrow.
normal time, please.
Maybe
Hold on, please, everyone. I don't have the power. Please just hold on. Let me decide. Number one, I don't have the power to change or fix time. That is not my discretion. That is not my work. So Mr. Kabiru, which is the boss of all of us, will fix the time and let us know the time. But I really hope, and I think it should be my normal time, which is by 9 p.m. So any other class you have will be communicated. If I'm supposed to come early, it will still be communicated. But I think it will be by 9. So I would check if if you guys don't have anything, maybe I'll try to come earlier because I want to finish option tomorrow. If I don't finish it tomorrow, I want to have only one class left after tomorrow. Please, by the grace of God, I must finish it tomorrow. I will try to type. It's just that time, but I'll still try to come up with save time and type some of the things I need to type. Probably those theories. So I'll just come and explain the way I came to explain today, and probably I'll put the formulas so we'll not be struggling with formulas. Then I would explain everything tomorrow. We must finish tomorrow. We're already in April now, so by mid-April we're supposed to leave you guys to go and read and wish you the best of luck. So, that is all we'll do today. Mr. Onyeka, you have a question for us?
not a question. I didn't join the class earlier. Please, can you post the previous ones in the group chat so that I will tag along? I joined late.
It's just theories we've been doing. Just theories, not really solved anything.
I don't join earlier, so I missed all these things. I missed them.
No problem. You know the deal now. The notes will still be sent to the group chat, but I don't like to send half notes. So maybe when we get to a certain point of the class, I'll send the notes. So please,
thank you.
the notes will still be sent to the class. So no problem, sir. So I would gladly say this is the end of class. I hope we all understood what we did today. But before I go, please, is there any question? And like I said, all these items are affected an option. I'm sure maybe I did not explain them well, or you do not have a very, very brief understanding. What I would advise is, I'll give you 2 advices. The first one is, hold on, maybe next class, I might have thought about, because they just told me like last 1 hour, 30 minutes, I'll be having a class. So maybe I would have thought about a perfect explanation on how to explain, or a perfect example that will make you understand. Maybe. The second advice I'll give to you is, don't wait for my explanation. You can go ahead and check them by yourself. But this small note I gave you is the best. You can just read them, understand, read and know, or read and cram, anyone you want to do. ICANN is not an exam they will tell you not to cram. You can cram some things. There are definitely plenty of things you cram. You cram formulas, cram a lot of things you can cram. So if you cram, you will cram. Fine. If you read, you will read. And read all these things. And if you see it, pour it there like that. That's the second advice I'll give you. So I would love to stop here. Only if you have anyone
next
has
class,
any
please
question
help
for
us
me.
to do some of the typing of the theory part. Thank you. It will help. We'll just be screenshotting and it will be easier to understand.
It's my own time. It's time. It's just time. Because I have a lot to do. But I would definitely try my best. Maybe I would just not sleep on time or wake up early or something. I would definitely just try my best. Because it will even help me and make the class faster. I would definitely try.
Please, are
Apart
you
from
going
that,
to
do you have
send this
any
document
questions?
after class?
Please, we want to screenshot the note. Please put the full note on the
Apart from that, yes, I would.
display the full note so that we can screenshot it, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
You better let you
Please,
send
are
it
you
to a
going to
group
send this
now.
document after class?
Please.
That's the same thing everybody has been saying. And like I said, I will send it. Should I speak it in Yoruba? I will send the notes to the group chat. But it might not be today. It might be after tomorrow's class. Why? Because I said, please and please, let me decide. Like I said, it might not be today. It might be after tomorrow's class. I don't like to send, okay, should I send today's one and not send tomorrow's one? I don't like to send half notes. It will just be stockpiling. You will not be having two different materials. Let me send everything once. Tomorrow I would have typed everything and we'll probably solve some questions tomorrow. We'll have a full note once and for all, which is very better. So once you open, you check everything you need to check. This is not full. This is half. So I will send it, but maybe not today. Maybe after tomorrow's class. Thank you very much. But the note will definitely be sent to the group chat. Thank you.
Mr. Olashinde.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
sir.
Another
Thank you so
question.
much.
Enjoy your class. Enjoy your
Thank you,
class.
dear. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any other question?
Thank you, sir.
So no
Thank
question
you.
for me.
Thanks a lot.
And before I know some people have gone, but let me rush and say something.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate people that has been sending me okay, let me stop this recording first before I say this.